LFY going for the Dragon Knight is very nice to see. It's a great hero. Does a lot of pushing with the ultimate. Very tanky, very hard to kill. So it's a very nice pickup. Keen Gaming going for the Omni Knight and LFY immediately going for the Rubik. That's something we see a lot, Mike. The Omni Knight being picked up and then the Rubik response immediately. It's something we've seen the past 2 weeks.
I mean, the thing is, John, we have seen it a lot. Of course, Omni Knight picked up, straight away you're going to get the Rubik, right? And most teams are not going to ban the Rubik, that's the thing. So it's such an easy kind of counter to grab against the Omni. What I'm more surprised about though, John, is the fact that King Gaming's been allowed to get all these heroes. Like, you gave them the Naga Disruptor combo, okay, fine. You gave them the Omni Knight afterwards as well? I mean, that's a bit, like, that feels a bit like, hold on a minute, you're letting them have too much here. And now they've got the Death Prophet to make matters worse. So this King Gaming draft looks quite powerful at the moment. Now, John, you know I don't like Death Prophet very much. I don't really believe in the hero much at all, but we know it still works very well, especially with a team like this that can pull off the coordination that's necessary to make it useful and get the timing right. I'm just surprised LFY is allowing this to happen.
I think it's perfectly fine for LFY to let the Death Prophet at very least go through. The Omni Knight's rather surprising. I don't think we see it in combination with the Naga Siren Disruptor combo too often. But the DP coming out, it really puts Keen Gaming on these big cooldowns again. Like, they have to play around Exorcism, they have to play around Song, they have to play around Static Storm. Those are really long cooldowns at low levels, and Exorcism doesn't actually scale in terms of cooldown, so Keen Gaming has to be very much aware of these cooldowns and play around them very well. I mean, we saw a newbie kind of pull the same thing, right, in Genting. Naga Disruptor along with the OD, so they were, and the Tidehunter in one game, so they were playing around these long cooldowns, which they managed to control their time very well and play around these cooldowns. But we'll see if Keen Gaming can do the same.
No, absolutely. I mean, you said it. The cooldowns are going to be a big problem for Keen Gaming. Now, the thing is, John, and I've always said this about the Chinese region, they know how to like, they're perfect with timing. They always seem to understand like exactly what time they need to do a certain thing. Like, we're going to push the T1 at exactly this time, then we're going to smoke up, we're going to go get a gank, we're going to push this next tower because Exorcism's going to be back up after 2 minutes. You know, they always seem to have that perfect timing ready. So, as like, I wouldn't usually like what King Game is doing in the sense that, like you mentioned, it's very cooldown reliant and it's going to be very long times between, you know, those cooldowns being off. But at the same time, if there's any teams that can do it, they are from this region. Like, they know the times very well. Then again, John, LFY, they seem very confident. Like, if you look at the picks they made, they didn't really think about it very much. They were very quick. The bans are pretty standard. So perhaps LFY just believing that they can completely outplay King Gaming at this stage, which is definitely a possibility because this is the first game of the closed qualifier. So we don't even know who really is at the top of this. But, you know, we know LFY is a good team. We know they've got great players. So it's not going to be surprising if they're just under the impression that they can just outplay this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's a very good Rubik game as well. I mean, there's so much to steal, Mike. All the spells on Disruptor are useful. DP has a couple of spells that's really easy to steal. Exorcism is probably very easy to steal for the Rubik. Naga spells are great as well. Omni Knight, and now the OD coming out as well, Mike. It's a very good Rubik game. I feel like all of these long cooldowns and control come from King Gaming can and will be turned against them.
Yeah, the OD was a great pick, and this is very reminiscent of what Newbie was doing these past couple tournaments. Like, running this almost exact draft, except for maybe the Death Prophet, because now you're kind of wondering who's going to be in the mid lane. Like, you're sitting there going, okay, there's an OD and there's a Death Prophet. Which one would you prefer to be up against? You know, maybe even, it's either going to be Super or Monet. It's probably going to be Super on the DK, but, you know, who do you prefer to be in that position? We don't know yet. We're going to assume that's probably going to be the OD in the mid lane, but it could be really either.
Yeah, it could go either way, although I believe MS is their position 1, so it looks to be, just by players going into the certain heroes, it looks to be MS in the safe lane and a mid DP.
Well, there you go. I mean, up against the DK, it should be fairly easy, right? Like, she's going to have too many issues with that. Obviously, the Spirit Siphon, extremely powerful against melee heroes. DK, of course, has some pretty damn good passive regen regardless, and is also, you know, it's a Spirit Siphon. You can't really sustain what's, you know, being used on you. But John, let's suss it out. Let's see what's going on here. We'll call out the players in the drafts. So we do see Yao. He will be on the Elder Titan. We do see the Rubik being played by Arfu. We do have the DK, of course, being played by Super. Mr. Phantom Lancer will be played by Monet. And finally, John, Ohio will be on the offlane Brewmaster. And if you could please call King Gaming out.
Alright, over on King Gaming side, on the Death Prophet, we have Ning Chen. On that mid Death Prophet, the Naga Siren being played by Yuna. Disruptor being played by by Qian Ming, I believe, if I'm not wrong. Outworld Devourer being played by MS, and the Omni Knight being played by Dark.
Hold on a minute though, I thought Death Prophet was being played by Ying. I thought that's what it stood for. The symbols. Wasn't it Ying?
Yeah, there's
Qian Ming on the OD. You're correct in saying, oh, not the OD, sorry, that's MS. Yeah, this is going to be difficult, like you said, but regardless, John, I'll try and figure it out. Obviously, we do not read Chinese characters, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll get it going. So there's Qian Ming and then there's Ying. I believe right now. But I believe it is, well, let's just leave it for now. The bottom rune is going to be contested right now. They're actually going to go for a big team fight. Yuna was in a bit of trouble. Dark in the middle of all this. Super, he will back off, and so will Monet. And, well, they managed to get the double bounties going on there. That being said as well, well, no, 3 bounties going the way of the Dire, so they do succeed in that, John. It was a bit of a, well, it was a bit of a cluster going on in that rune, but they get it off, and they'll go immediately to try and pull the creep wave, but Dark is not going to have the greatest time. He gets lifted up immediately. Yuna trying to help out. There's the purification as well, but he might give away first blood right now, and it looks like he will. Yeah, we'll get that as well, and that's a nice little start for LFY, and a really unfortunate start for King Gaming. They do manage to get the pull off, but I'm not sure how worth it that's going to be now.
I feel like it's still worthwhile. These early kills don't really give too much in terms of XP and gold. Giving out the first blood bonus is big, but in terms of losing out in XP and farm, it's not so bad. Getting that pull is, I'd say, slightly more beneficial, as the creeps in these early phases of the game actually give more XP than kills.
No, that's fair enough. I guess, like you mentioned, they don't even have gold anyway to lose, right? So Dark wouldn't have minded that much. It's more about not giving the gold away. But there's Yuna. He gets lifted up and he's in a bit of trouble right now, and they will not be able to get that final hit. Monet is not going to be happy about that one. He was literally probably half a second, if that, away from getting the animation off, but not quite there. But John will have to keep an eye on that bottom lane. That is where all the action's going to be. But let's move over to the mid lane. Super versing, that is Qian Ming, I believe, by the way. In fact, no, I'm wrong again. That is Ying. So it's Ying versus Super. John, the DP versus the DK. I mentioned I think the Death Prophet should have an easy game in the mid lane, but how do you feel about it?
You know what, I feel like you're right. The DP should be able to climb ahead. It's these early first few levels, I feel, where the DP kind of struggles. The DK has a fairly cheap nuke. Breathe Fire is very good for clearing creeps, and it drops your right-click damage on the enemy core as well. It should be fairly even, but yeah, as these levels go up, DP probably has a better time with her nuke and Spirit Siphon.
No, absolutely. It's going to be one of those things, like, the Spirit Siphon is just a really painful ability to deal with, and we already see it straight away. Super, he's going to start copying it now. He does have the level 2 Dragon Blood, and that's one of the things, right? With that passive regen, and he already has the Ring of Regen as well. Like, he's healing for 10 without a Tango. Now he's healing for 19. But that 10 HP per second, it's going to mean he can stick around the whole time. Like, the right clicks do nothing to him. So unless you're going to have Crypt Swarms and Spirit Siphons available in excess, you're probably not going to find a kill solo. So I suppose, like you mentioned, later on when he's higher level, probably going to have a few issues, but for the time being, Super seems to be enjoying himself quite well.
Absolutely.
Oh, we move to the top lane as well, John. Ohio. Ex-Fnatic player, actually. Bot lane was where the action was. Again, Monet does end up getting Yuna, but we're talking about Ohio at the top lane. He is up against the Disruptor and the OD. Not the easiest lane in the world, but also not the hardest. He is managing to get last hits and XP, so he's doing his job. And he's pulling waves as we speak. John, ultimately, it doesn't look like they're really going to be able to kill the Brewmaster at this stage.
They definitely won't be able to, especially with just the dual lane. I feel like they need the presence of the Naga to lock him down. The Disruptor in these early levels really doesn't have too much control, especially going for Thunderstrike and Glimpse level 2. It's really not much. You really can't hold down the Brewmaster too well. You probably want a few levels in Glimpse and at least a level in Kinetic Field to secure that kill, but that's not going to come out for some time, Mike.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, but that's fine. You can just spend a bit of time. In fact, he's going to come mid lane. We already talked about this, John, but Super is not going to be easy to gank. And especially if LFY have some rotations coming in, like immediately, I just don't see them killing him. Not with a Disruptor and a Death Prophet. They're going to get started with the Spirit Siphon. Super's actually going to try and fight back a bit. Now, actually, maybe Disruptor can do some work here. The Thunderstrike, the Spirit Siphon. Nobody's really rotating Super. He's going to drop. So he actually turned around, but maybe a bit of miscommunication. Ohio was in the area, but he was not anywhere really near him to be able to, you know, really help out, and eventually they just dropped. We looked at bot lane as well, John, and Dark's in a bit of trouble right now on the Omni Knight. He will manage to walk off, though. Of course, Omni Knight is extremely tanky, and they're really just fighting over those neutral stacks right now. And they are actually going to go on Dark again. Monet is being a real pain. Obviously, he does not want the XP to be soaked by the Omni, but rather get it all for himself, and he is successful in doing that.
Yeah, it's fairly big to really zone out the offlaner. I mean, the key thing is they need XP. All these heroes in the offlane really want a fast level 6. And so far, both teams have been zoning out the offlanes just fine. I mean, look at top lane. MS is level 6. Ohio is still level 3. Same thing in the offlane for Kinglin. Dark and Yuna are not getting too much XP from this lane. Dark's still level 3 as well. Yuna's stuck at level 2.
Yeah, it's going to be problematic. It really, really is. I mean, Ohio needs to find those levels on the Brew. Like, without that, I mean, there's not much you can do with a Brewmaster. And as well as that, John, the OD, we've seen how crazy they can be once they get the farm that they need, right? And they only really need something like a 4-star and then maybe a blink. After that, you're ready to go. You've got the initiation, you've got the escape, and you just need to really right-click with the Arcane Orb. Like, there's not much to it. So, giving MS the free farm he needs right now, and all the levels he wants, like, this might be problematic for LFY later.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be very hard once that OD is online early. And action on bot lane.
Yeah, Afu, he's being chased up right now. The Crypt Swarm will actually connect, and they're going to continue chasing. Meanwhile, Monet is also in a bit of trouble. They should be able to find Afu, but Monet is the real target, and they do get him, John. Now Afu going to keep running, trying to juke out as much as he can. He does have the TP. Will he use it? No, he will not. The Riptide was there from Yuna anyway, and both will drop from the side of LFY, and again, it's not just a matter of they're not, you know, finding enough farm and they're getting killed right now. It's a matter of, like, King Gaming, they're finding everything they need, as well as the fact that they're taking the tier 1 tower, John. Like, this timing is perfect from the Death Prophet.
Yeah, it's absolutely perfect timing. DP just hit level 6, immediately rotates to the most pushed in lane and just takes the tower. This is what you want to see from your Death Prophet, and we talk about this all the time when the DP's picked up, Mike. When that exorcism is popped, you want to make sure the team fights by a tower, so you take an objective. Because the cooldown's so darn long. Fortunately for Ying, he did have an arcane, I believe, so the cooldown's not as long. They should have it up in maybe, what, half a minute? So that will be online for another push and another team fight. And I feel like LFY is just lagging a bit too far behind. Currently, they're playing 4v5. You know, right now it's not looking too good just yet, but if Keen Gaming keeps up this pressure, they should be able to take more objectives from this map.
Well, John, they're going to go on super again mid lane, and this should be an easy kill. Again, I don't really see any rotations apart from Arfu, and in fact, they will let him go. No, it looks like the Death Prophet does not want to. The lift was there, and it was a beautiful one from Arfu as well. John, the hesitation there from Keen Gaming really cost them. Like, it felt like, oh, yes, he is tanky, but there was only one rotation from Arfu, and at the end of the day, there's only one person he can lift. So perhaps they miss out on a kill on super, and he'll get to fight another day at this stage.
Yeah, that's rather unfortunate. I feel like you were right. If they just decided to push in, throw their bodies forward, they probably could have gotten both Afu and Super, but you know what? It's fine. They don't lose any bodies. They're playing safe. They can probably take this T1 in a few seconds because Exorcism is back up.
Yeah, well, you did mention the Arcane Rune was available last time when they did use it, so it's such a low cooldown right now. And again, the timing is just perfect. If they're ready to go, it's just a matter of whether LFY will be willing to try and defend this. And even if they are, it's not easy, right? Like, sure, you've got no Static Storm, but you don't want to necessarily fight underneath that Exorcism, especially not this early where, you know, it's going to deal a hell of a lot of damage. You look to top lane and, well, they're pushing the T1 themselves, and they found MS. But MS looks like he'll just walk it off. He's currently hiding in the trees. They did not get the stomp off, and, well, he will actually come back and defend, so he's feeling fairly confident to be able to face all those heroes in the eye, but nevertheless, his Death Prophet continues pushing, and he'll just continue farming. So King Gaming still doing the right thing here, still getting what they need.
Absolutely. They're still chipping away at that mid. They managed to, and they're TPing in response to top now.
Yeah, well, there's Ohio. He does actually split up right now. They will throw the stun onto MS, but there's no follow-up right now. They will actually ensnare the fire brew, I should say, the brewing. I mean, he's already got the rock one away, the earth. So he's fine. They did manage to take out Dark at the bot lane, so Monet gets himself a solo kill while all that was happening. But still, you know, you threw out the Brewmaster ulti. You know, you tried to get an easy gank, but just it almost felt like the coordination was not 100%. Chasing, excuse me, is chasing with the Invis Rune. And this should be a very easy kill. They pick him up, they lift him down, there's a stop just in case, and very easy death. Obviously, there was no way he was surviving that one.
Yeah, absolutely not. I guess he was just trying to soak some levels to get his fast level 6. You know, as a disruptor, you really want the levels because your spells on low levels are actually pretty terrible. Like the range and glimpse, level 1 is pretty low, level 2 is kind of better, not great. The wall doesn't last as long as you'd like. Thunderstrike doesn't do too much damage unless you invest into it heavily, so Disruptor as a support does need a lot of XP.
Well, that's a fair point, John. Like, until he gets it as well, they can't really go for that Song Static Storm combo that you always see. So they should really be prioritizing, and it looks like they are, to try and get him up. In fact, I believe they may have just been him a tomb as well. And he is almost level 6. So he will finally have a Static Storm available soon. And they do actually end up denying the tier 1 tower at the top lane. Again, we look to the bottom here where Monet is just harassing the hell out of Dark right now. Obviously, Dark does not want to die a second time to this PL because you don't want to give him the chance to catch up. And, well, if you look at that net worth, John, LFY have actually overtaken it a bit. They pushed it back their way. Mid lane, they will go in though with the stop and the stun from Super. Can they finish him off? No, there's an Astral coming up from MS. Now, Rubik has also stolen the Astral, but he's kind of stuck all alone, and Arfu will end up dropping. They could not actually kill off the Death Prophet. Ying will survive through all this. But LFY, again, it just feels very problematic. They'll continue pushing the tier 1 mid. The Exorcism is available again. Now, mind you, the Stomp is there, which really delays everything. But still, you commit the Exorcism like that and you're almost guaranteed the tier 1.
Yeah, for certain. I mean, there's no way this tower is going to survive with just 321 HP. And, you know, with him blowing the dragon form earlier, the defense isn't really going to come out. So this is a fairly good objective to take. The mid T1 does open up the map a lot for you. It opens up a much bigger part of the Radiant jungle, and they can kind of roam there safely now.
They will do so immediately. They want Monet. He is located at the bot trees right now, and well, he's very well aware of what's going on there. He was an observer ward, of course, from the Radiant, scouting all that out. But all this time that, you know, he's just standing there, he's obviously not farming, which is very bad news for him. He will rotate to the top lane safely and get back to that farm in the mid. But still, if you look at his farm, I mean, he's really keeping up with MS, who's had a free lane on that OD. So he's doing a very good job on that Phantom Lancer. It's just a wonder as to whether it's going to be enough against, you know, the side of King Gaming right now. Like, the draft they have is not easy to deal with. But it does feel like almost, if it goes too late, it feels like the Phantom Lancer and DK would be too much of an issue to deal with.
They will grow bigger, like the PL does scale nicely, so does the DK, but I feel like with the OD there, it's going to be very hard. Like, those two heroes, DK and PL, really don't get too much int, and, you know, OD really punches these low int heroes. I mean, we've seen it, especially with Newbie when they ran it again. If you get enough stacks of int going from Arcane Orb and you drop the hammer in these low int heroes, they're going to have a really bad time.
Well, that's actually a fair point. I didn't really consider that, but yeah, the int gains are very low. The base int is very low for these cores that they have. So there was a lot of value to begin with in the OD pick, and well, you're gonna see it. Like, he's probably gonna be able to steal a lot of int with that Arcane Orb, and even if he doesn't, he'll still be able to do a fair bit of damage regardless. But you know, with these tanky cores that LFY do have, you're gonna be able to get a lot of right clicks in with that Arcane Orb. So they've got to be careful not to give him too much. Especially considering it's not going to be easy to kill him because he has an Omni Knight.
Absolutely. I feel like itemization is key. We do see Monet going for the Battle Fury now. I'm not sure how to feel about it on PL. I know it's been very popular with a lot of players, but I'm not sure if this is the game for it, especially against a Naga Disruptor combo. With the OD, I feel like you'd probably want to get a little bit more in stats just to be a bit more active early on. It looks like Monet is just satisfied with farming for now, leaving his team to take most of the team fights and pressure on themselves, which is fair enough. It's been working out just fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question though, right? Like, I mean, it was the question I just asked, which is, you know, essentially who's got the better late game. You, of course, mentioned at the end of the day, the OD is going to get too powerful. You know, so it is going to be problematic, but LFY, judging by Monet's itemization, it appears they're comfortable with the idea of going late. You know, you said he probably should get more stats. I would have to agree with you, but LFY looks like they do not want to fight, but rather just take it later on until they're ready to go. And I mean, there is a DK as well, right? Like, the DK, he can get a bit silly with how hard he can hit, you know, after he's got all those items that he requires. Not to mention, he pushes towers very quickly if given the space.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it's not too bad for cooldown on Dragon Form. It's pretty long, but the uptime is pretty long as well, so you don't really have too much downtime for the Elder Dragon Form compared to, like, Exorcism. Again, as a high cooldown spell, its uptime isn't really as much. Its downtime is pretty big.
No, it absolutely is. Do see the bot lane, they are actually having a go right now, and it is onto Dark, but he repels TPs, and there's just nothing you can do about it. They did commit the Earth Splitter, but it did not connect. And well, very easy escape. Some time wasted by LFY, so Dark's probably going to be happy about that. Should mention, John, as well, the Brewmaster Ohio does actually have the blink up and ready to go. So he will be looking to make some ganks, I'm sure, because, well, the first time he did go for a split, it wasn't that successful. Looks like top lane, they will end up finding a Fu. And, well, it should be a very easy kill. Looks like Arfu, again, being very cheeky. He steals the Astral and just wastes a lot of time. He's actually going to try and juke them out here, and he was kind of close, but MS with the right click and the Arcane Orb is way too powerful, and so they'll trade tier 1s instead. You see LFY, they'll go to the bot tier 1, and rather King Gaming will be happy just taking the top.
Yeah, it's a fair enough trade, but these towers aren't too crucial to map control, so trading 1 for 1 isn't such a big deal. It looks like LFY might want to get more and maybe start chipping at T2. They are hanging around the jungle, but they're probably just clearing out their stacks and getting farm away from King Gaming right now.
I mean, the thing is as well, you know, King Gaming, it seems like they could go for more, but you know, the thing is, the Death Prophet is about to hit level 12. So you almost just want to wait for that next level before you commit it, rather than putting on cooldown. So he will have it now. And we always talk about the timing, John, but I'm sure they'll be trying to go for something soon. And as I say that, they smoke up immediately. So perhaps the Death Prophet will be the bait in this instance, and rather the rest of KG will try and find something. But as soon as they find it, you can bet they're probably going to go for some tier 2 push. I believe there was a nice little scan that came out from the Radiant that actually spotted them out, you know, right around that observer ward for the Dire anyway, so they were aware that there is a smoke going on. That was a very, very well placed scan. Some great game sense coming out from LFY.
Absolutely. They scanned in front of the DP, not where the DP would be, so they knew the DP was out of range of the scan. They dropped down the scan and it still went off, so they knew something was up.
And now they've smoked on their own as well. They pinged them out. They've noticed Yuna. Mind you, of course, the Song and the Static Storm combo is available, so they have to be very, very careful. Especially on Monet and the Brewmaster, Ohio, because you do wish for them not to be silenced, because that's very problematic. Looks like the Spirit will go in. The Stomp will be there. It will connect, but it's a matter of whether they will go in onto MS. Again, it's, you know, everyone's behind him waiting. And now it looks like King Gaming, they've gotten impatient and rather they want to find them themselves. They're in this awkward position, John, where it's like nobody's really around them and they're really out of position at this stage. And well, we see MS, he'll TP back up top, he'll start farming again. And the rest of KG might be in a bit of issue here. Arfu getting chased right now. He realizes some TPs. Will there be a glimpse though? No, there will not. Just in the nick of time, he will get out. They are picking the Roshan as well, but can they really take it that safely? I suppose with the Song, Static Storm, and the Guardian Angel, there's nothing really to worry about in such a small Roche pit. There isn't really a good like Aegis stealer that can be there, apart from maybe, you know, a high on the Brew. Roshan is going down very, very quickly due to the exorcism as well. So it looks like there will be no congestion. LFY will just pick this up for free. Oh, my apologies, not LFY, KG. And LFY will actually be in the bot lane, staying completely away from it. Perhaps even almost unaware that that was happening.
Yeah, more... It feels like they were. They didn't have wards up, but they knew all the heroes were missing on the map. I believe Ohio was actually making big circular drawing over the Roche area, so they had some idea they were there, and they just realized if they tried running, they'd lose out in farm and not really be able to contest. They'd be coming in too late, so they opt not to. King Gaming again with a smoke.
They will smoke immediately. Now, they are still in the mid lane, so this is somewhat, you know, unlikely that there'd be two heroes. And actually, they will find the DK Super. They, in fact, have a dust, but Super will just turn around here, and he'll go straight for him and takes him out. But the Static Storm was there, but the Astral, it wasn't great, John. It actually helped out Super a bit, I think. Now Monet's here, and MS is going to be in trouble. He's all alone. The stun's there as well, and they're just hitting him pretty darn hard right now. The Astral's there. Now the Sanity's, but is that going to be enough? It looks like just not. They get the Aegis off at the very least. Super will walk away with 70 HP at that point. And he should be able to just, yeah, he TP's out, John. That was a pretty nice little play coming out from the two of Monet and Super.
Yeah, it really was. They managed to expend the Aegis so early, so fast. Like, they just took that Roshan, like the first Roshan. Having that pop along with the Santi's Eclipse, which is a massive cooldown, it's a really big win for LFY, I have to say.
I mean, it was just a strange kind of rotation though, right? Because you saw the two guys from KG, you know, walk up these stairs, but then MS decides to back off and the Disruptor says, no, we're going to keep going. Super just takes him out immediately. You saw this really awkward Astral to try and save his Disruptor, but it was too late, and then it just helped, you know, Super survive through all this. And then he just walks out with 70 HP. Not to mention Monet was around the area, and he was more than happy to go on to MS, so bit of a disaster coming out from KG. Very awkward rotation, but nevertheless, they're still perfectly fine in this game. Looks like they will actually have a go right now. In fact, it's Ohio. He's actually picking on someone. Who is it? He's found the Disruptor, and he should be able to find that with the rock, and he does. The question is, can he get out of this? He's running to the shop right now. Ensnare has been used. He won't have that blink available. Nice little Crypt Swarm coming out from the Death Prop, and Ohio should just drop. He is still running towards the fountain. Now he's going to man fight this. And well, at the very least, I suppose you could argue he made some space and got himself a kill, but that was almost questionable, you know, diving that far for just a disruptor.
I feel like it's justifiable. It's definitely quirky, but it's a justifiable move. It forces Team Gaming to go back to their T3 because it was being knocked on, and it opens up the map for these farm-heavy heroes. I mean, look at Monet. He's really just farming up now, and that's what they want. They want him to be Tucker. He's working on a Scotty now, which will really help with that stat panding we mentioned. It will make him much less susceptible to the Santi's Eclipse. And the DK as well, it's still working on to a BKB, a very good pickup for him. It really nullifies a lot of damage coming out from Keen Gaming.
Yeah, I think the BKB is a great choice from the DK as well. Funny you should say Monet with the Eye of Skyny, because as soon as you said that, he changed it to the butterfly. So it looks, but you know, you can't blame him, right? Because that means that they're just not going to be able to right click him down. Like OD, who wants to be able to sit there and just right click with the Arcane Orb, he's going to miss a few attacks now. You've also got, you know, the fact that he's going to be hitting like an absolute truck and moving faster whenever he wants. I mean, Exorcism is still very effective against the PL, but then again, it's a PL. Like, you're not really going to be able to just, he's not going to stand there and take it. He's going to, you know, he's going to use Doppelganger, he's going to run around, and you're probably never really going to get the chance to just kill him off. They will go to the mid lane and try to find the DK, but Super has that BKB and will fight this against all 5 of them. Yuna is actually in big trouble now. Ohio comes in. He has the split, but the Static Storm just in time, and he should drop right now. The Arcane Orb does too much. They do get that kill now. Super, he'll be the next target. He's being slow. Beautiful stomp though, coming out from Meow on the backlines, and the Guardian Angel committed, but the Earth Splitter was nice as well. And well, both teams lose 1. Ohio was the bigger kill to get, and now Monet's here. The question is, what can he do? Because he's copying too much damage. The Rod of Atos almost trapping him with the Mantis there. The fight still goes on, by the way. The Astral, who the hell was it on? I believe it was the Death Prophet, and it was. They'll just turn around though. They've stunned him up. The lift was there as well. No damage coming out. LFY, they're backing off. Now Super gets glimpsed back in. Can they actually get a kill? The Sanities does connect and does get the kill on the DK. And now the Rod of Atos. Well, KG is going to run back in after. He does have the purification, but it does not matter. Again, beautiful stomps coming out from Yao, but it's not enough to stop this aggression. And look at Dark. He's giving the vision for his disruptor, and well, it did not work apparently. Why didn't it work? Oh, the doppelganger. He did actually doppel while that was happening, so very nice timing. But my god, what a fight to have, John. And I mean, King Gaming continue to be on top of this game.
Absolutely. They don't even have to use the Naga Disruptor combo. Like, we haven't seen a sleep yet, Mike. It hasn't happened yet, mainly because Yuna just keeps falling first, but apparently it doesn't matter to Team Gaming. They still take these fights convincingly, although they do have to drop the hammer, which is, again, a pretty long cooldown. Because of that, they probably can't take any more objectives. They kind of have to reset, and that gives LFY enough time. I mean, all their heroes respawn. They should be ready to go for any engagement that comes out next as well. I feel like that was a good showing from Team Gaming, but it's at the point where LFY can probably match them in damage output, although Monet being caught out is very big.
Well, they do catch him out with the Static Storm. The BKB Super is there to try and help out, and Disruptor actually goes down. They don't find the kill to Monet. Now, who are they going for? The Astral is there. It's actually the Omni Knight. The Earth Splitter is there as well, and Death Prophet might actually die. There's the first song, John. They're all clumped up, but it won't matter. They don't want to fight anymore. Dark, though, he cops the Lance from the PL. He's all slowed up right now. The Repeller's there as well. He tries to TP out. Is it enough damage? No, it's not. They're going to keep going. They continue this chase coming up from LFY. They've basically confirmed that Yuna's dead right now. There's no way he gets out. The song's already used up, and they'll be happy with just that. So 2 go down for King Gaming. And John, I mean, the thing is, they were the aggressors, right? They wanted Monet, but he is not an easy pick to get. Like, even if you get the Static Storm, if anyone's around him, or if they can TP near him, he's probably going to be tanky enough to sustain. Now they're actually going to go with the MS right now. He's trying to right click, but he's covering too much damage. This PL is hitting so hard. They will actually end up picking up Dark as well, and he might actually just be dead. He's stunned up too long. Ohio did use the split and use the stun from the Earth Spirit. And I mean, well, this is a tier 2, and I'm not going to be surprised if they keep dying. In fact, they will not, because the dragon form is not available. So no need to rush the tier 3. But LFY, it's such a back and forth game right now. Like, you don't really know who's ahead, apart from maybe the net worth, where LFY is actually 5k ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we really have to go by right now is net worth. The LFY is definitely ahead, but in terms of objectives, you're still one tower down. You know, the team fight has been topsy-turvy. Both sides just kind of take one team fight, the next fight goes to the other team. So it's been a real back and forth here. And I'm not sure how to feel. I feel like if LFY keeps gaining the momentum, it's gonna start to taper off for Team Gaming, since their cores do scale nicely, but I feel like if PL gets a bit too big, they'll be relying way too much on Sanity's Eclipse bursting down, which is a very long cooldown. At a certain point, you're gonna drop that, and PL has buyback. How do you finish him off then?
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? It's like you can't actually kill him again. And that being said, the Sanity's Eclipse isn't necessarily going to guarantee a kill. The PL is actually, again, Manet has changed his mind. He's going for the Eye of Skadi now. Now with that item, like the stats that you gain, it's going to be way too much health to get through. So unless you catch him out by himself, which he doesn't seem to be falling for, then you're pretty much not going to be able to kill the guy. Even with the Sanities, I think you'd have to have a crazy amount of in to actually kill him in one fell swoop. I just don't see it happening. They've got to connect the Static Storm perfectly with the song. We know that for a fact. And it has to be perfect. Because you can't let Ohio do what Ohio is doing, which is staying out of it, splitting up and then ruining the team fight. You can't allow the Elder Titan to be out of it either. Because he's just going to stomp and you're not going to be able to do anything. And not to mention, you've got Arfu as well, who can steal the Static Storm and turn it back around in your team. So there's like, you've got to get at least those 3 heroes, and none of those heroes involved Manet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now LFY is playing very smart. I mean, each time these fights happen, they're always scattered. They do glimpse back Yao now.
Well, they do get Yao, and well, he should drop very quickly. I was actually just concentrating because I think Yuna just accidentally said GG. But of course they will not, you know, stop the game. He was just trying to say go. Yuna probably panicking a bit, like, you know, no, didn't mean that, but they do end up getting the Elder Titan. They will open up the map a bit more. You know, realizing that Yao is down and that Stomp isn't there, John, like, you've got to feel a lot more confident with pushing a tower, and they'll automatically go to that tier 2 top.
Yeah, but at the same time, LFY is taking their own T2 at bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be problematic. There's the Exorcism. They've actually caught out Arfu, and he should just drop right now. So this is a confirmed tier 2 for them. But the tier 2 bot has already gone down, like you mentioned, from LFY. And although LFY is not going to defend this, they might just continue pushing the tier 3 because nobody's there to defend it. I think Manet's starting to realize this and sends in the illusions to the least to try and prompt a response. And nobody's going at all. I'm actually shocked that they're not trying to push this tier 3, to be honest with you. But there it is. Well, they actually do end up getting Dark to come in and clear it up for his team. But
yeah,
that was an equal trade.
Yeah, but right now, in terms of map control, LFY has better map control now because they've taken all the outer towers now, like, and LFY themselves still have a T2 down bot. It's not healthy, but they still have that TP point, whereas King Gaming's all out of towers to TP2.
Yeah, that's a good point. That tier 2 is going to matter. Now, like you mentioned, it's not very healthy, but LFY may just choose to defend that because, I mean, if they're going to split push, they're going all the way to a tier 3, which is not easy to do. So you may as well take a team fight near your tier 2 and try to defend if you can. It looks like they are going to go for the Roshan now. Both teams scouting it out. The big man does also have a cheese and the Aegis available, and we already see KG starting to de-ward immediately to ensure that LFY doesn't have the vision they want. But of course, LFY probably going to stick around here. They know what's going on. And Super will use the Elder Dragon form immediately. They smoke up as well. He's going to go in first with the Shadow Blade. He has a blink as well as the BKB, so obviously the safest option. They're going to actually loop around here. Exorcism has been committed, and generally you do not want to fight into this. The Sentry Ward though might spot out Super, although he is also smoked. Now Arfu kind of shows himself, in fact they all do. Spirit will go in. Roshan is very low. Now Super goes in though. The BKB was committed by the Death Prophet, so he's very healthy right now. And who are they actually going for? They've Astraled one up. Monet, he's perfectly fine for the time being. Afu was actually the one in the Astral. And this fight is all over the place right now. Like, they don't actually have a hero to go on. Meanwhile, Disruptor goes down the back line. They're going on the Death Prophet, but she's healing up due to the spirits. The Yule is there though. Can they find this? The Earth Splitter does connect onto Dark, but the sleep is perfect from Yuna. But will it be enough? Because Super just goes straight back in. Now they want Dark. The Guardian Angel has been committed. Again, the Astral from MS on point right now. And he's still perfectly fine through all this. They do end up finding the Death Prophet though. And now they're just sitting ducks. The Sanity Eclipse does nothing basically. Like, it was a bit of damage, but it didn't really matter. Dark goes down as well. That's a 4-man wipe. Yuna is the only one to walk out of there safely. And they're not really going to care about Yuna while they're pushing that tier 3 tower.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, when the Naga uses Song, and you know it's the only survivor after a team fight, it really doesn't count for much. Sure, she could probably annoy with some Mirror Image and Riptide, but it's not going to do too much in this defense, and they are forced to buy back.
They absolutely are. I mean, they have the Omni Knight, but the thing is, MS does not have buyback on their OD. I feel like this buyback is just pretty much just making sure they don't go for a second Rax. And in fact, they don't even bother with the range. They just leave it, and they'll probably go straight for a Shrine, or maybe even the Roshan, which is so low right now. Which actually, that makes a lot of sense. You know how low the Roshan is. May as well take it while KG cannot actually try and counter. And they will do so. This is a massive win coming out from LFY. And John, if you look at the net worth graph right now, they're 12k in the lead, and it's going to be a bit more just after this. And you look at Monet, he is way far ahead of anyone else in terms of net worth.
Yeah, Monet definitely pulled far away, and that's LFY's decision-making at work. I mean, for a long time they were playing 4v5, really just throwing Monet to any food lane they could, any jungle camps they could, just give him all the farm in the world, and it's really paying off now. I mean, he's 5k ahead of the Death Prophet, and even Super on that DK is not lagging too far behind the DP. So the farm distribution for LFY is really nice.
It really is. Everyone's getting what they need. You know, you even look at Afu, the Yules, the Blink Dagger, like, he's just got it all. Everything he'd want. Ohio actually went for a Radiance, by the way, John. We didn't really spot this out before. I don't really know the reasoning behind this. Like, it doesn't seem like the best decision in the world. Is there even any Blinks to cancel? Like, there's MS. So at the very least, he will cancel the OD Blink, but that's not such a big deal. Like, OD usually uses it to initiate, not escape. That's why you have the Hurricane Pike there. Rather curious why he would do this. Have you got any ideas, John?
Yeah, I think it's for the split push. I mean, for a while we were seeing Ohio, right? He was diving T3s, pushing out creep waves by himself, buying time for his team, and Radiance really helps out with that. He had a recipe in his backpack for quite a fair bit, and I feel like it really does help him be disruptive in these split pushes. It helps him clear waves faster. In the middle of the team fight, the spirits get the aura, so it's very annoying to deal with, you know, constant damage, a little bit of mischance, always kind of helpful, and you know, it's not a bad item on the Brewmaster, especially if you're just going to be an annoying split pusher.
No, fair point. That will help, and it has obviously helped this whole time, because all their lanes are pushing in quite well. You look to Super as well, John. He's actually going for an Orchid. Probably going to end up turning that into a Bloodthorn, of course. That is a rather interesting decision. Now, there are a lot of heroes that you can use that on. In fact, all of them are pretty darn good targets. It does feel like, however, it's probably specifically for either Yuna to stop the song coming out, or probably even Dark on the Omni Knight, because naturally the Guardian Angel and Purifications and Repels, if you can stop that, the team fight looks so much worse. They're going to push a tier 3. Split comes out from Ohio, so they're going to go for this fight right away, but the tier 3 just melts. They just want the racks, and Ohio is just annoying the hell out of KG right now. Now they stun up Dark, and that's the one they want. The Astral is there from MS though. Can they take MS out? Storm comes in. It's only on the Super really, and it looks like Dark will end up dropping. Maybe no, the Guardian Angel comes in as well as the Song. Maybe a bit of mistiming there, because the Guardian Angel is going to run out. They go again, they're not going to back off. The Astral is there on the Super. Actually, the Death Prophet is actually surviving through all this pretty darn well. The Astral will take one out, and that was Ohio. But that being said, MS is almost done. He's forced to Astral himself. Now Yuna will be the target. He'll be going down for sure almost. Dark will be the next target as well. Looks like OD did manage to survive through all this. Dark, is he still being chased? Yes, he is. He ends up going right next to his tier 4s. They're going to try and get R2. And they will. But now look at this. KG, well, he's gone again. They're going to go after Yuna to try and get that die back. Looks like MS is a very big target, and they do have the silence on him, and Monet will find that kill. He's on an ultra right now, by the way. Super, he'll find another one, and that's a rampage for Monet, and he's going for more, John. He wants to dive the fountain. He has not had enough quite yet. They call GG, and what a damn way to finish that.
Yeah, well, I mean, what an ending. Monet just styling right at the end, going for Rampage, and he still had Aegis, Mike. He didn't die. He had Aegis. He wanted to dive the fountain, and he probably could have gotten away with it.
It's perfectly played from LFY. Like, we were concerned at the start for them, and KG was playing so well, but they come back and they really just put it in the face of Keen Gaming. And well, you know, we were worried, but